did he just say?
He said there's a storm coming in.
I know.
Welcome back to Misfit Island. What day is it? Friday. Yeah. So it's actually good news for me too, because I think like I said, since the company since June last year, but me since November or since Thanksgiving, it's just 6 days a week. Well, 6 days a week, but for me, 12 hours a day. But I think we're finally caught up, and we finally hired enough people to get the plant back up to up to par or all of our orders and stuff. And they just told us last week that we're probably not going to be working Saturdays unless something major happens during the week, or like something breaks down or something. So I'm actually going to have 2-day weekends here pretty soon too. So it's Friday, yes. So yeah, this is Misfit Island. This is where take them to the cross ministries. That's what it's all about, basically. Is I'm taking you to the cross, man. That's what it's about, right? The cross, the empty cross. Because Jesus, he died and hung on a cross, and he died, and they buried him, and he was resurrected for 3 days, and he sits at the right hand of God right now. Jesus is alive. There's a man on the throne room of God right now. And he's interceding for us believers, us that come here, us little misfits, us little army. As we come here to shut out all the chaos and all the noise of the world, we come here to focus on God, Jesus, his word, and to dig into the Bible and read his word. This is how we increase our faith and we deepen our relationship with our Creator, right? This is how you do it. You don't strum it up by going to potlucks. You do it by reading God's Word. And you can do that on your own. You can do that, we do that here together, me, you, and the Lord. If there's two or more together in agreement, it says the Lord is in the midst of us. And the Lord is here right now, and we're getting ready to dig into his Word, and, he loves that. He loves that, And again, we're in the book of Revelation, so, the book of Revelation says if you read these words or you hear these words, I am going to bless you. So get ready for a blessing. God's going to bless you. I don't know how, but he's going to bless you. Bless you with some truth anyways. And it also says at the end, John tells us, if you take away from this the words of this prophecy, he's going to take you out of the book of life. And if you add to it, he's going to add the plagues of this book onto you. So we are definitely not doing that here. And we are, actually, next, I think we're going to finish this next week. So today we're going to read chapter 18, and we're going to see the fall of Babylon. Monday we've seen the scarlet woman and the scarlet beast that rides, this woman that rides the beast. And we read all about that on Monday. And then on Wednesday, I went back and I went over like all the visions that Daniel had of this last beast. This beast that's going to come up, this Antichrist, he's this system. And these 10 kings, which I believe are fallen angels, sons of God, that are fallen and here, and they're trying to divide for power, and this whole system is going to devour mankind. So we went back and I clearly showed that it's something different. It's they mingled themselves with the seed of men. He's got eyes like a man. If he was a man, it says he's different than all the other beasts. I guess I clarified what I should have taught when I taught chapter 13, or read chapter 13, and then, clarify a little bit more, give you some more in-depth understanding of this beast, and it's not men. It's not going to be a man. It's not going to be mankind. People teach it's going to be Rome and technocrats, because that's what they see. People have power today. People have money, like Peter Thiel and Gates and Zuckerberg or whatever. I wonder if they take Zuckerberg and hang him or something for all the stuff he's done. I didn't say that. Don't go do that. I was just saying I wouldn't doubt if they go do something like that. Or get some clown. Remember, do you see that video where Bill Gates was going somewhere and the guy snuck around the thing and hit him with a pie? You know how easy it would be to, for somebody that had just been like a gun or a sword. Can you imagine if it like a Muslim was there or something? It's like on live 5 o'clock news, somebody martyred. Bill was martyred. He wouldn't even be a martyr. So anyways, yeah. So we're going to dig into chapter 18. We're going to see the fall of Babylon the Great. Remember 16. I was kind of confused because it's the last 7 plagues that's poured on earth. God's wrath poured on mankind, which is it's got to be at the very end because the things that he does, mankind can't live on earth anymore. All the water's blood. How long can you live without water? And all the islands are gone, all the mountains are gone. So I mean, can you imagine? I don't know if you ever lived through an earthquake. Oh man. I lived in California for 33 years. It is one of the most scariest, fearful things to feel. Feel the ground shaking or rolling, or I mean, it's just you do not. But imagine if the mountains and islands are gone. What is that going to do to the earth? I mean, tsunamis and it's just total destruction. That's the last bowl that's poured out on earth. So, and then he says, I remember Babylon. I was like, wait a minute, I thought Babylon was, so he's like, I remembered him. God remembered him. So then, remember this guy takes John, or who was it? One of the 7 angels. He says, come. And so he carried him away in the spirit and to the wilderness, and he shows him this woman, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth, and he explains her, and he explains who all these, the woman, the beast, the seas, the mountains, the kings. He explains who all those people are. He goes into this beast, this whole thing, and 5 are fallen, one is one. That's confusing. And so now we're going to see how that was the Babylon, the beast system, the mother of harlots that went out and destroyed the mark, and killed all the saints. You've seen in 13, you get the beast in the sea, who's the Antichrist, and you get the beast in the earth, and he has the same power as the Antichrist as long as he's with them. And it says he makes mankind make an image, the image of the beast, and then it says that you got to worship the image or the beast, and if you don't, you're going to die, and you're going to have the mark. It says you can't buy or sell unless you have this mark. Well, that blood, if it's talking about the history of the church, like the Catholic Church or whatever, all the blood of all the martyrs up until then, or the blood that takes place during this great tribulation period, where if you don't worship, they're going to go out and kill you. The Jews and the Christians are, that don't refuse to worship this beast are going to be martyred, slaughtered, killed. So here we are, chapter 18. You ready? Let's just dig in. The fall of Babylon the Great. So after these things, I saw another angel coming down from heaven, having great authority, and the earth was illuminated with his glory. Wow. Imagine the whole earth illuminated with this angel. Just imagine that. Just that alone. Breaking news, cut to everything, every feed, every if you're watching Housewives of the Ghetto or whatever you're watching, it's all cut to breaking news. This angel and the glow, the whole earth sees it. The earth was illuminated with his glory and carried mightily the loud voice saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and has become a dwelling place of demons, a prison for every foul spirit, and a cage for every unclean and hated bird, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. So, there is, in Isaiah 13, Jeremiah 50, Revelation, 18 and 19, or 17, 18. It literally says that Babylon is going to be there at the end. It's going to be rebuilt, and it's going to be destroyed, so nobody lives there again. So right now, as this beast system is going on, and there's 10 kings, and they give the power to the beast, and he went and desecrated the temple, and the Jews fled, and now he's out killing Christians and Jews, and everybody's got the mark, and they're all buying and selling, and yay, who can stand against, who can go to war with this guy? He's God. Look, I got it on my forehead, I got it in my hand. Remember everybody with their mask and their boop, boop, the blue Band-Aids, and look at me, and all the videos, and you're going to see that just all over the mat. Oh, we worship the beast, and look at my mark, how beautiful I am in the world. Hey, buying and selling. Well, here comes their fate. So, but anyways, I was like, where was I going with that? Babylon. It's gonna be rebuilt. Saddam Hussein tried to restart. He started rebuilding it. People live there now, not a lot, but it's going to be rebuilt. And I believe, that Babylon is going to be, it's literally going to be rebuilt, just like the people said Jerusalem wasn't going to be back and the Jews wouldn't go back to their land. They poo-pooed it and said it was allegorical. And then in 48, they came back, and one day, like the prophecy said they would, now they're a nation. So everybody had to change their doctrines and their theology and how they taught the scriptures and how it's allegorical. Everybody, at some point in time try to say all these things in the book of Revelation is allegorical. No, it's all literal. It's all literal. Individual judgments poured on mankind for rejection of Jesus. So now we're going to see. So this city is rebuilt. What I'm getting at, I think it's going to probably be a big, beautiful city. It's going to take us some time to build it. And if you watch these channels, you know that I believe the gap period is a minimum of 7 years, if not 40. And then you get the last 7 years, and the scenes calendar, the 6,000 years, the legit real calendar, that all the prophecies, if you go back and look at the prophecies, that all the things that the events took place fall to the exact day and time in the scenes of the calendar. Well, this is our last 50 years. We're starting it in March. We're going to start that last 49 years. That will be the last 40. That generation will see all this take place. And my theory of the gap of 40 years. I don't know why people that teach like the pre-tribulation rapture and Christians and they freak out when he's talking about gap, because the gap means nothing to us. It could be 2,000 year gap. It means nothing to us. We're gone. We're out of here. So when you start telling them, you tell them more than a couple months and people start freaking out. If I tell them, like I tell somebody 7 years, a 4 year gap, they'll shut me down and turn me off and quit listen to me because there's no way that's going to happen. Just like people said, Jerusalem would never, the Jews would never come back to, they're still coming back. I believe all this persecution in the world right now, they're going to bring them all back. It'll be all one, so it's Antichrist back. We're going to kill them all now. We're going to win this war. Anyways, it's going to be it's going to be rebuilt. And I think because there's no ships there. There's no ports. How can these people mourn and watch it being burned if there's no, it's going to have the biggest cloud server. There might be something even more than we understand now, like Wi-Fi and clouds and all that. There might be something even more, but anyways, there's going to be something there that's going to control all the commerce on the entire planet. I don't know what today we would call it a cloud server. A big, huge, maybe the size of Indiana, full of hard drives that controls everything. Buy and sell, if you're worshiping the image, if you're not worshiping the image, whatever. It's going to be in Babylon. So when you see it destroyed, that's why the whole world weeps and mourns. So are you ready? Let's continue reading. So, verse 3. For all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. The kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. Remember we read that this is the kings of the earth or the this is to be the world leaders, because the other one was 10 kings, right? So the kings of the earth, that's the technocrats, the world leaders, all these vampires you see out there that are raping and destroying and children, all the stuff you see in the news that they're trying to hide. Trump didn't do anything, right? But you know what he's doing, right? He's protecting his wife. Because his wife was caught up in that stuff. That's what he's protecting. And he's going to go down for it unless he reveals that. If he just came out and said, I was protecting my wife. That's why all the chaos behind all this Epstein stuff, release it, don't release it, okay, release it, I don't care, I'm not in it, it's all a hoax. He's protecting his wife. You know that, right? Anyways, so the kings of the earth is different than 10 kings. I just noticed that just now. There's the title for the world leaders and the technocrats, the people who have the power and money, and it's vampire families that are butchering and slaughtering kids and eating their, Pizzagate and pizzas and I want some more beef, I want some more jerky, it's sick. Ellen DeGeneres, all these people are like Trump haters and people that are, they're all a part of it. They're all doing it. All of it. And Epstein was just one little outpost. They're all over the world, and they're still doing it to this day. Still doing it to this day. How do you think? Look at Hillary, man. You can tell when she doesn't get her blood her sacrifice, she starts looking like she's 90 years old, and then all of a sudden she comes back and she looks like she's 55 again. I wonder what she did to look young. Oh, plastic surgery what's the stuff that inject you? No, she's a vampire. They'll probably shut down this page for that. I might have to take that out. You might not even see that. So anyways, nobody watches me, so I don't even know why they would like block my channel. Nobody watches. So the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. The merchants of the earth have become rich through the abundance of her luxury. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people, lest you share in her sins, and lest you receive of her plagues. For her sins have reached to heaven, and God has remembered her iniquities." So I think maybe people are using this, and they're saying, "See, this is why there's no pre-tribulation rapture, and we go through these trials and tribulations. It's the church. Who is his people?" The whole Old Testament is about his people. Who is that? We are the bride. We are the church. His people are the Jewish people, the Jewish nation. The Jews are still in, they all are going to go back to Jerusalem in unbelief, right? There's prophecy about that. They're going back in unbelief. So he says, "My people, come out of her. At least you receive her plagues, for her sins have reached to heaven, and God has remembered her iniquities. Render to her just as she rendered to you." To who? All the ones that died during this tribulation. The grid. This is probably, I don't know when exactly this takes place. It's got to take place right before the last 7 plagues, which I believe the last 7 plagues. I think because I think like he sets up this, the 10 kings, and he sets up this system. He allows them to rebuild their temple. You see things that are taking place during that time. I think it's like that 7 years is, all the stuff that happens in the gap before that takes place, all those judgments. And then, there's like, they're going to get back to normalcy, and they're going to rebuild the temple. They're going to worship the temple. The people are going to be like, "Oh, this guy's like God." He's the 10 kings. You got these fallen angels down on earth reigning. Oh, the world's back to, wow, this is awesome. Things are getting back to normal. Then you see the little horn rise up, and he's speaking against God and the people in heaven with him, us, the church, and and these 2 witnesses are telling everybody to repent, and the whole world's like trying to get back to normal. And man, they got these 2 witnesses talking about God and Jesus. Man, I can't stand them, and nobody can kill them. You kind of got normalcy there. The judgment's already happened. Then you got the 2 witnesses that are killed, and you got that's the second woe. And then you got, he's going, "I'm God." People are going to be taking the mark. There's going to be normalcy there. You're going to see here when these things are destroyed, they're enjoying the delicacies. So it's got to go back to normal. All the chaos, all the judgments, and the planets, and the sky, and the blood, and 1/3 of the trees burnt, and 1 billion people killed, and demons coming out stinking men for 5 months, and 200 million horses, killing 1/4 of the planet, 1/4 of the planet. I mean, all this is, then there's this got to go back to normal somehow, because it says all these people are enjoying their delicacies, and they mourn when Babylon's destroyed. So I think that he's gonna, people are gonna, the 2 witnesses are gone. The beast, I'm God. The 10 kings give him his power. They got the mark. They're buying and selling. The world's kind of getting back to normal. And then at the end, Babylon's destroyed, and then bam, the 7 plagues, and then this battle's going to come up. They're going to try to fight God in Armageddon, which I believe are the sons of God and the fallen angels and the demons and whatever is left of man, which can't be a lot. You're going to try to rise up and fight God. But so I mean, so during this, there's got to be some normalcy somehow, because these people are they're going to mourn when it's all gone. So I'm not sure exactly when Babylon's destroyed. It's during the last 3.5 years. So anyways, what's he say? So render to her as she rendered to you, and repay her double according to her works in the cup which she has mixed double for her. Remember, it said Babylon has fallen. So, and in the measure that she glorified herself and lived luxuriously, in the same measure give her torment and sorrow. And she says in her heart, "I sit as a queen, I am no widow." Remember, the great city is the woman. The woman who saw is this great city which reigns over the kings of the earth. Remember those kings don't like her, so they destroy her. So now you see the city, and there's a whole. You look in the Old Testament, and all the scribes and the Pharisees and the Sadducees, they all like when Jesus was teaching and stuff, like they all pointed out subtly in the Word, but I'm sure at the time, all through his childhood, that his mom was like a whore. She was ended up being pregnant before Joseph came back and betrothed her and she became his wife. So they all, like he was a bastard child. And so that's what he's there, I think, is alluding to here. I sit as a queen, and I am no widow, and I will not see sorrow. Therefore, her plagues will come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she will be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord who judges her. So the kings of the earth, remember, that's the world leaders and the technocrats and all that. Remember, you got the kings, got the 10 kings. Now these are the kings of the earth. Commit fornication, live luxury with her, will weep and lament for her when they see the smoke of her burning, standing at a distance for fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour your judgment has come. And the merchants of the earth. So this is so you can't allegorize this and stuff. He's going to clearly say everything he's going to say. John sees and tells us is clearly saying this is a city that's destroyed. And he goes, like I said, there's 6 chapters in the Bible talks about Babylon will be rebuilt, and one day it will be destroyed, and nobody's ever going to live there ever again. So remember, he said, what's living there right now? It's a dwelling place of demons, a prison for every foul spirit, and cage of every unclean and hated bird. For all the nations are drunk of the wine of the wrath of fornication. So not only is there people there, it's a dwelling place for demons. Remember when there was one of the judgments and said they were still worshiping demons? And what was that? What chapter was that? That was the 6th trumpet. Remember all the judgments of the 200 million horses with the riders on them. The horses are going out killing 1/4 of the world. And it says that the people that survive, after the dust settles, the people that survive, says that the rest of mankind who were not killed by these plagues did not repent of the works of their hands, that they should not worship demons. So it says that they're not repenting, and they should not worship demons. So Babylon's probably up and running at this point after the 6th seal. They're not worship demons, they're worshiping demons, idols of gold, silver, and brass, and stone, and wood, which can't see, hear, or walk. And they repent. And they did not repent of their murderers, their sorceries, their sexual immorality, and their thefts, as in the days of Noah. And so you go back and read in the days of Noah, not everybody was buying, drinking, and eating. That's what the sign is. No. In the days of Noah, all men thought evil continuously, and they dwelt among the fallen angels. And the hybrid race of the fallen angels, the sons of God, the hybrid race was this Nephilim. And that's what was going on as in the days of Noah. What's going on right here again? And you're going to see. So, in Babylon, it says all the demons are living there. These foul spirits are prisoners there. So this Babylon is just going to be a cesspool of evil. But not now. So it's destroyed in 1 hour. Judgment has come. It says the merchants of the earth will weep and mourn for her. No one buys their merchandise anymore. Merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet, every kind of citron wood, every kind of object of ivory, every kind of object of precious wood, bronze, iron, and marble, and cinnamon and incense and fragrance and oil and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and cattle and sheep and horses and chariots and bodies of the souls of men. That is one of what's going on today? You see at the Epstein files. The bodies of the souls of children. So at this time, these people are drunken in the bodies and the souls of men. You think all that's in one city, or is that the system? And the system is going to be destroyed. And a system that you can purchase all of this all over the world is just going to be destroyed in 1 hour. So now you can't. How are you going to buy it? There's no mark. Your mark on your hand and your forehead is no longer any good. It's void because there's nothing to buy. The system. You're not hooked to the system anymore. You can't buy anything. That's how that's what I believe it is. I may be wrong. I don't know if anybody's ever. I've never heard anybody teach that, but that's how I think all the people of the world can mourn over Babylon is because it's the biggest cloud server the world has ever. It's gonna control everything on the planet. So the sheep, horses, chariots, and the bodies and souls of men. Verse 14, the fruit that your soul longed for has gone from you, and all the things which are rich and splendid have gone from you, and you shall find them no more at all. The merchants of these things who became rich by her will stand at a distance. So there tells you they're not all in Babylon. They're standing all over the world. Whatever's left of the world, whatever's left at this point, who knows? Like I said, the judgment of thirds, it could judge like all the Americas. It could be gone, and it's just got like this, all the countries around Israel. That's what it's all about. It's about Israel, Jerusalem, and the Jews. That's all this is about. The apple of God's eye, and to bring them back into repentance and bring them back into fellowship with Him. So this shame. It's people all over the flat Earth. They stand at a distance for fear of her torment, weeping and wailing. So whatever happened to it, they don't want it to happen to them, and they're crying and they're wailing because they can't now. How am I going to sell my stuff? How am I going to survive? What am I going to eat? Oh no, my pension plan's gone. Oh no, my disability is gone. Oh no, my whatever. The system's gone. The system that was built for mankind to buy and sell is gone. 16, and saying, Alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet and adorned with gold and precious stones and pearls. So the city is going to be beautiful. It's going to be beautiful. I don't know if you ever went to it's like Catholic churches or like some cities and just they're beautiful. It's just amazing what mankind can do, and how beautiful they can make things. So, for in 1 hour such great riches came to nothing. So the riches of the whole world in 1 hour is gone. Every shipmaster, all who will travel by ship, sailors, and as many as trade on the sea stood at a distance. So they're not all in, like ships going up into the port of Babylon. No, it's talking about the world and the system you can't buy and sell with. This system's all in Babylon. However they control mankind and build this system, it's in Babylon. They stood at a distance and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What is like the great city? They threw dust on their heads and cried out, weeping and wailing and saying, Alas, alas, the great city in which all who had ships on the sea became rich by her wealth. For in 1 hour she is made desolate. Ships on the sea, not ships in the port of Babylon. Rejoice over her, O heavens, and you holy apostles and prophets, for God has avenged you on her. So heaven, all of us in heaven, we're going to be watching this. And God tells us to rejoice. Then, verse 21, a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and threw it into the sea, saying, Thus with violence the great city Babylon shall be thrown down and shall not be found any more. Is Babylon? Go to Google Maps and Google Babylon. Is Babylon still here? Babylon's still in Iraq. It's in Iraq. It's still there. But at this point, it says, Babylon shall be thrown down and shall not be found any more. It's still there. So this is future. Future. It's not America. It's not New York. And there's some people out there way smarter than me is teaching that. Verse 22, the sound of harpists, musicians, flutists, and trumpeters shall not be heard in you anymore. So this might be like people that was like the city, you go there and there's like Broadway plays and, musicals and concerts and I don't know. No craftsman of any craft shall be found in you anymore, and the sound of millstone shall not be heard in you anymore. The light of a lamp shall not shine in you anymore, and the voice, this right here always throws me off. The voice of bridegroom and bride shall not be heard in you anymore. So, it doesn't say the bride and the bridegroom. Who's the bridegroom? That's Jesus, right? So, did they have churches there? I don't know. I don't know if it's talking about Jesus and the church or the people that are teaching about Jesus and Jesus. I don't know what that means. This city that's rampant with demons and stuff, and it says that. But I don't know. I don't get that. When he throws that in there. It says, the light of a lamp shall not shine in you anymore, and the voice of bridegroom and bride shall not be heard in you anymore. I got a question mark on that. I don't know what that means. But it's not saying the church is here and destroyed in Babylon or whatever. For your merchants were the great men of the earth, for by your sorcery all nations were deceived. And in her was found the blood of prophets and saints and all who were slain on the earth. So, not only is this, what's that movie, Limitless? I think where he took a pill and he was like, his abilities was limitless. I think there's going to be some kind of pill, that's created during this time that. It's sorcery. It's for pharmakia. There's going to be something like a daily vitamin you take. Maybe the vitamin you don't have to eat, but it's going to be like limitless. Like you think you're going to live forever. You're not going to get sick. You're going to be happy, whatever. But it says, for your merchants were the great men of the earth, for by your sorcery, Babylon, right? The system. All the nations were deceived. So by her drugs, the whole world was deceived. So maybe to keep people in this stupor and not learning and just keep believing the lie, they're taking drugs that keeps them in that stupor. And in her was found the blood of the prophets, the saints, and all who were slain on the earth. So I think what people try to say, it's like Rome and I don't know, Rome and what's the Catholic Church? What's it called? The Vatican. They say it's that, like that's where they get it from. And again, if you look at Catholic Church history, they've killed more Christians than the entire world. In the history of the history of man, if you compiled all the Christians ever killed, it's going on today, like in Africa, it's killing thousands of Christians every day. They're being martyred. But if you take the history of mankind and all the history from Jesus on, all the Christians that's been killed, the Catholic Church has killed the most. And I think one of the popes has killed more Christians than the history of man, the history of since Jesus. Yeah, go read the Catholic Church history. It's ugly, very ugly. The Dark Ages, they call it the Dark Ages, like 1,500 years. So anyways, there you go. Babylon is destroyed. It's like, whew. So that was like thick and heavy, right? All the way up and down from chapter 4 to chapter 6 to chapter 19 is thick and heavy. There's still another. So you still got we got chapter 19 where heaven exalts over Babylon. So this is when Jesus is going to come back on his horse with us. How do we come back with him if we're still being martyred right now? We're going to die, and then he's going to issue us our military horse, and then we're going to jump on it and come back with him right as soon as we die. I don't know. People, I don't get how people. I don't know. I don't get it. So anyways, we're going to read about that. 19 and then 20. We're going to see Satan's going to be bound for 1,000 years with the Lord in a short time now. People that say that we're living in chapter 20. This chapter 20, the people are actually saying we're in chapter 20 of Book of Revelation right now. And there's a mass deception going on this, especially on social pages, that we're living in the short time. Yet they ignore chapter 6 through chapter 19 of the Book of Revelation. That's already happened. They obviously don't know what happened during that time. We just went over it. Is Babylon still here? Babylon's still here, right? Well, they're saying we're living in this time now, this short time, where Satan's loosed for a little time to deceive the nations. No, it's going to happen again, though. So we got what? Oh, so maybe we won't finish next week. We still got 4 chapters. 21, all things made new. 22, the river of life. Time is near. All right, so thanks for watching. There you go. It was Friday, so what do? Turn off all the chaos, all the madness of phones and TVs, whatever else you're using, computers. Shut them all down and go spend some time with your loved ones. And, enjoy the people that you know and love. Enjoy them. Time is short. It's going to get bad. I think it's going to get bad in America. If the Lord doesn't come back soon, it's going to get bad here. I wouldn't doubt that you see them rounding me up and putting me in a prison and killing me. Just for my little 30 viewers. This little family, this little squad we have here. Put me away. Kill me if the Lord don't come back. It's okay. Don't fear the man that can take your life. Fear the God that can take away your soul. The second death. That's what you fear. All right. And I know I'm in good with him. You know why I'm in good with him? Because of Jesus, and what he did for me, and my belief in that, and by God's grace. And if you're still thinking, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. Let me go back to Instagram. I need a Snapchat. There's still hope for you. There's still time. There's still a chance for you. If you're still watching this, there's still, you still got time. Nobody knows when that time, that final, the final fullness of a Gentile comes in and the number goes and bam, go get him and we go meet him in the clouds. Not come back and step on the earth. No, we go meet him in the clouds. And he takes us back into this mansion he's been building us, which is, I believe that mansion he's building us is our new bodies, our glorified bodies, built without hands. We become sons of God again, and we get to reign and rule with him for 1,000 years, and we get to live with him forever. And I hope we can go and enjoy his creation, the vastness of our universe and all the other ones. You're like, what are you doing today, Tim? Well, I'm going to go over here to this galaxy over here and explore and worship you while I'm doing it. All right. I love you. I love you too. Man. That's been my that's, God knows that. That's like my soul, my character since I was a little kid. I used to watch Looney Tune cartoons, and Slowpoke Rodriguez would jump on that train and just, not a care in the world and go places. And as a little kid, I just wanted to like not have a care, a little bandana backpack and just see the world. That's why I joined the Marine Corps. I wanted to see the world. So I just wanted to see. I love new cultures and new foods and new people and the God's creation. I love it. I'm old, money and time now, but man, the best times of my life was doing all that. I love that, man. I didn't get to do it like I wanted to when I was in, but again, bad choices while I was in the Marines. Always making bad choices my whole life. So anyways, thanks for watching. If the Lord tarries, I'll see you guys back here on Monday.